Folks, welcome to Vlogmas day number something. I don't know what day this is. I'm pre-filming this on November 21st. So look at it. Look at me. Look at us.
Look at us. Look at us.
Today's video is going to be one that I've seen kind of fade out the last couple of years. I've seen other people do these videos in years past, like Jackie Aina used to do them. Her version has always been like trends that we should leave in this given year. But I wanted to take it a little bit further and not just talk about trends. I had you guys kind of send in things on Instagram because I wanted to see what y'all wanted to talk about. It's kind of going to be like half me reacting and half me kind of coming up with my own things that I feel like we should leave in 2019 since we're entering the new year so very soon. Some things we should just forget ever happened.
You know?
I'm gonna start on Instagram. I'll tell you, I'm not gonna go in on this video again because I feel like it's kind of unnecessary at this point because I already have and you already know my thoughts. But clearly a lot of you also feel the same way about Jaclyn Hill because I had so many people say we should just leave Jaclyn Hill in 2019. So yes, we should. We should just leave her career in 2019 and move on with our lives. Cool? Got it. Yes, absolutely. I got one that's just Sister Jeffrey Hill. Let's leave those J's in 2019 and let's just
Smoke some J's in
2020. I just fucked that up. I literally got a joint as like part of my payment for shooting a music festival in November. Like, what? I feel you. We can wish. So, some of y'all mentioned Fashion Nova, and I have never really known much about Fashion Nova. I know that they've got, it's kind of problematic. They always advertise the same looking bodies and products are like fast fashion and not very good. And we should probably just leave Fashion Nova in 2019 and also just like leave body shaming in 2019. Let's just leave body shaming in 2019. I've seen so much lately as somebody who's in the beauty community. I see a lot of people post about influencers for one reason or another. And because of stuff like Facetune and all these filters, and anytime somebody does something bad or makes a bad decision or a bad call, there's a lot of people who come out of the woodworks on Twitter that just like start making fun of them and body shaming them. Jaclyn Hill being one of them. There's so many things you can criticize people for, but don't criticize them for their weight. Like, let's just leave body shaming in 2019 and also just leave the idea that, this is kind of a separate tangent, but I mentioned it in another video, the idea that because so many influencers, so many Instagram influencers and YouTubers, all of these people who are making content, because they're getting a lot of the same work done, which they're every prerogative to do. A lot of people are getting like lip fillers, injections in their face, in their cheeks. People are getting injections in their butt. They end up getting to look very similar. And because that has become so much more normalized, people just like assume everybody else is gonna do it. And when their body doesn't look like the filtered Instagram models' bodies, they just get shunned and shamed. Let's not shame people for getting work done, but then let's also not shame people for not getting work done. Okay, cool. Yes. If somebody's problematic, they're not problematic because they have stretch marks. Like, what the fuck? They're problematic because they're bad people, okay? Which brings us just to stan culture. Let's just leave stan culture in 2019. It's not going to, I know this. Again, it's wishful thinking. If you want to see my entire rant about stan culture, let's leave it. I'll leave it in a card. You guys can check it out if you're new here and haven't seen that video. Also, people mention on Instagram that we should leave cancel culture in 2019, which is interesting because the way I look at cancel culture, the kind of cancel culture that I feel like should stay, we shouldn't even just call it cancel culture. We should just call it holding people accountable for their actions. Let's just stop using the term cancel culture. Can we do that? Don't necessarily do away with everything that has come from it because we've exposed a lot of bad people. You know, there's been a lot of bad people that have been kind of brought down somewhat by cancel culture, but let's just stop calling it that because it's not that we're like canceling a person. It's like somebody did something bad, they play themselves, okay? Let's leave the term cancel culture in 2019. Okay, cool. Yes, I bought 6 sets of fake nails online yesterday. Someone just wrote, probably YouTube at this point. I mean, it's too late now, I don't know. Someone wrote,
Forever 21 Beach.
bye. Yeah, that's an interesting one because I've talked about it before. On one hand, fast fashion, stuff like Forever 21, as well as all these online websites, not the best practice, not the most ethical practice, not the most sustainable practice, you know. But on the other hand, it's like Forever 21, as quickly as everything gets like sorted out and changed out, it is a good resource for people, for young people specifically, who don't have large amounts of income or can't afford to maybe go to a store that has more ethically sourced stuff, because choosing to not shop at Forever 21 and stores like it that are in a mall, like that are like standalone stores in a mall, choosing not to do that comes from a place of privilege, and it's something that we shouldn't automatically like shit on somebody for shopping at Forever 21 because nobody knows their story, you know? Lacey made a great video about that, actually, about, yeah, just, I can't remember what even the specific topic was, but she talked about choosing to do things sustainably. So, I mean, yeah, Forever 21 filed for bankruptcy, and it does show the change in the market, though. I think that the market is changing. I think that the more companies like this do go out of business and see the repercussions, they might start just doing better, just being better. If people keep taking the shit and don't say anything about it, it's just going to keep happening. So the fact that the market decided that Forever 21 was no longer the giant it used to be, people aren't going to follow the same course, you know? You know, this video is going to be very scattered. I know, it's late. Also, I'm on Sudafed right now. Heyo! One that we can all agree on. Someone just wrote, misogyny. Yeah, fuck that shit. Let's leave that back in the 70s. Let's just send it back to 1976 and never look back. That's what I want a time machine for. It's a new decade, y'all. It's a new decade. It's a new time. January 1st will officially mean that I've been alive during 4 decades. It was only like 6 months in the 80s, but you know, it counts. Chunky sneakers and Kanye West. I agree with one of those. Chunky sneakers are like, I don't know what exactly you're talking. Are you talking about like wedge sneakers? I literally bought a pair of wedge sneakers the other day. Or are you talking about like grandma shoes? Like Yeezys? Like chunky sneakers. I don't even know what. It just sends me back to middle school, okay? We had like, not Vans, not Adidas. I mean, I guess we had the big fat Vans. Fuck, DC sneakers. Oh, DC skate shoes. They need to bring skate shoes back, okay? Now that's a time I want to return to.
Skater shoes.
But Kanye West, holy shit, what is happening? This is another thing that I literally would have never expected in this timeline. I used to be a fan of Kanye's music. I mean, I'm still a fan of his older music. Like 808s and Heartbreak is fucking dope. Lately, it's like, since he became involved with the Kardashians, I haven't really liked him as much. And I don't know why, that's specifically why. It just happened to line up with the timeline. And I think he got a big head, even bigger than he already had. And holy shit, Kanye West, besides being like an avid Trump supporter, like he loves him because he's also a narcissist. But like now he's suddenly like, I am the greatest artist that God ever sent to earth. Like, and he's speaking at Joel Osteen's church. Kanye has gone off the deep end. Like, okay, for a while I was like, okay, he's dealing with his own stuff. Let him deal with his own stuff. Like, I don't want to judge, but like once you get involved with the Osteens and like mega churches and prosperity gospel, you're fucking checked out of my book. Fuck prosperity gospel. Holy shit. Not what Jesus is about. God isn't about sowing seeds and spending $20,000 to buy your way to heaven. Are you fucking kidding me? Unrelatable influencers. Are we talking about the Ace family? The Ace? Yeah. Ace family sucks. This one, this person said, non-black YouTubers speaking with a black scent. Let's just stop stealing things from black people and pretending like it's cool when white people get it. Let's just stop doing that. Cut creases. Yeah, I'd be down with the idea. I want to leave the idea that cut creases are like the pinnacle of talent. I want to leave that idea back here. People can still do them, like, I'm bored of them. I don't want to do them, but we should stop pretending like just because you can do a cut crease cleanly means that like you're impeccable at makeup. Like, stop acting like you're better than everybody else because you got a lot of lid space and you can fucking cut a crease. Shoes with random zippers that don't do anything. I don't know if I've ever encountered shoes with zippers that don't do anything. I definitely want to leave like pants with fake pockets and zippers to nothing. That should stay away from 2020. I don't need fake pockets. I want deeper pockets. Let's leave fake pockets in 2019. Fake pants pockets need to stay here. Can we please leave behind the idea that you can't wear socks with sandals? I mean, I'm not personally offended by people wearing socks with sandals. I think the part that's like more bad is like wearing the sandals and like pull the crew socks up really high onto your calf, like halfway up your calf. I think that's the dorky part. But like the idea of wearing socks and sandals, like sometimes you want your feet to breathe, but you also don't want to be covered in dirt. That's not that unreasonable, okay? As an avid Birkenstock wearer, like it's no different than wearing like tights with sandals. Like I've worn tights with my Birks. Is that ridiculous? Maybe. Is it comfortable? Hell yeah. I did have one person say Visco girls, and that's something that I feel like has gotten so much unnecessary like shaming. Again, why are we shaming people for harmless things? It's like you're wearing scrunchies and save the turtles. Like, yeah, it's a funny meme, but it's just like, as far as like a fashion statement or a style, it's not a bad one. Like, it's not like they're making choices that are dangerous. Like and as far as I know, like all of the stereotypes of Visco girls are like generally like a friendly, nice person. So like what difference does it make what the youths want to dress like? I think people are forgetting that's what all of us wore in elementary school. So like it's just comfortable. Diet culture. Oh yes, this definitely goes into just like let's leave body shaming and diet culture in the past. Actually, Samantha Bee did a really great video portion of her television show about Instagram influencers and the FTC, and it was rather interesting kind of seeing how the regulations don't apply to like sponsored content, like SponCon, the same way it does to like traditional advertising. She was talking about like laxative teas, the diet teas from companies like Teamy, who incessantly reached out to me like 12 times wanting me to talk about their skincare. But companies like that put out those teas that are like promoting this idea that they're healthy when they're just making you shit your pants. So let's just stop that, which leads me
to undisclosed sponsorships.
Y'all, we are past this. People need to stop doing this. Like Samantha Bee said in the video, it's like you have people talking about products that are like health related, especially, which they could be sponsored for. And then if they don't disclose that, people start believing them and taking health advice from influencers. It's one thing to take makeup advice or like fashion advice or like, oh, I use this meal kit at home. Like I've talked about Home Chef and I've mentioned that I was sponsored by Home Chef. It's like most of the people that talk about those companies are very good about disclosing stuff because the brands aren't usually problematic. Why are we still doing this? Like it literally isn't difficult to say that it's an ad, that you were paid to say this. It's so normalized now to where people aren't gonna be like, oh, sell out. Like people don't care anymore. They care more when you don't disclose. So please disclose, and not like a teeny tiny hashtag ad in the corner of your video that's very small, an Instagram story where you're like, can barely see it. Just stop hiding it. People know that you have to do sponsored content because of stuff like YouTube guidelines, and then things get demonetized for God knows why. So people know that people do sponsored content, so it's not like you're weird for doing it. So just tell us when you're doing it, you know? 6-hour ads for makeup. I like that. I like that a lot. Oh, one thing I did see today that I was absolutely disgusted by, and somebody mentioned it in an Instagram message. This happened a couple of times where popular influencers, popular YouTubers will talk about a family member dying and taking time off and going to be with their family. And then you have just like random subscribers like showing up to their family's funeral. I know that happened with the Dolan twins, and then Bretman Rock actually just today, as I saw this, posted about it, is that like he literally flew home like to be at a funeral and like his father's funeral, and then people showed up to try and get selfies with him, which is like absolutely ridiculous. This parasocial relationship that people have has gotten so skewed and so creepy. You can't just stalk people in their private moments. Like that goes for showing up at their family member's funeral and also like showing up at their home. People need to stop thinking that that's okay, and parents need to step in and stop letting their kids walk all over them and just like doing everything that they want because it's easier. Like people need to start teaching these young people privacy, realizing that like influencers aren't your friends. Makeup brand collabs with random no makeup influencers. That's never gonna stop, unfortunately, but I would prefer it to. Nisa mentioned it very well in her last video from me filming this in talking about new releases, specifically talking about Lele Pons, and then Eva Gutowski, who did a collab with ColourPop. But these brands aren't gonna stop doing these collabs because they see a quick buck, because people like Lele Pons have like millions and millions of subscribers, and young people with parents, they're gonna ask for things. So it's like, it's a quick cash grab, but let's just not buy it. Like, let's just not buy it. That is up to us at this point. They're not gonna stop, but if we make it less successful, they might. Let's just not buy them, okay? This one's, we need to stop comparing ourselves to others. We are all great. Well, yeah.
You're breathtaking.
Dismal foundation ranges. I think we're kind of on the upward slope of that. I mean, there's still a few brands here and there that will post shade ranges that are like, what were you smoking when you came up with that? But I think we're on the climb to better foundation ranges. I sure hope so. I mean, with brands like Fenty and Pure with their like 100 shade range, that was a little much, but let's leave those sad foundation ranges in the past, okay? Fake freckles. I like fake freckles, okay? I like fake freckles. I don't do them a lot because they're time consuming, but like, what difference does it make? Using eyeliner to put it on your face, like, it looks cute. It looks cute. This person just hit the nail on the head on all of them. Guns, climate change denial, tolerating sexual assault, and fragile racist white men. Yeah, hopefully this impeachment can do that for us. And leave anti-vaxxers back in 2019 because we want 2020 to be immunized, okay? I know too many immunosuppressed people to not be just angry about it all the time. Moving on, non-safe eye glitters and eyeshadow palettes. Yeah, especially palettes that are like marketed at kids. I'm looking at you, ColourPop. Let's stop doing that. This person said non-biodegradable glitter, bulky plastic packaging, contour, and brow pencils. So things that are just generally extra. So like the Benefit brow pencil, any of these PR packages that come in that are just like lined with plastic and ridiculous stuff. I'm very pro cardboard or cardboard or metal stuff that is biodegradable and more sustainably created, you know, like plastic releases far more of that into the atmosphere. You know, we don't want to leave the earth in 2019. We want to have that still going. I feel like because of this like new fast release trend, which I hope slows down, that's something I want to leave in 2019. I want to leave this like super hyper speed release timeline in the past, because not only are people just getting kind of bored and getting tired of it, it also is creating so much more waste because you have all these brands come out with stuff that nobody ends up buying, and then it sits on shelves for months at a time on sale, and then they end up having to discard it because they don't sell. And so brands need to just like start putting out things more smartly, I wish, not just for our sake, but for like the earth's sake. I'm not going to pretend like I am a perfect person and don't have some habits that are more wasteful, but I also try to offset that with other things that I do in my day-to-day life that aren't as wasteful. So I'm not trying to pretend like I'm perfect, because nobody is. Anybody who says they are, they're probably lying. I want brands and the big companies actually making the stuff and making the money to be the ones making the change more of because they're the ones that affect it the most, you know? Hannah actually made a great video responding to a tweet that Thomas Halbert posted about like what are you doing in your day-to-day life to live a more sustainable life, and metal straws don't count or something. And it's like, yeah, it's important to pay attention and to recycle and do things in your own life what you can. Like, everybody could live as sustainably as possible, waste free, and it still wouldn't save the planet because it's the industries and the corporations that are doing all the bad stuff. So let's leave the notion that individuals are killing the planet in the past, because that's not what's happening. That's not what's happening at all. Oh, one thing I do want to mention, because of this whole like kids on YouTube thing that's happening right now with COPPA, I will admit I'm not as educated on the subject as I probably should be, but I tend to not make content that young people watch anyway. Like, my audience is like mostly over the age of 17, like almost all over the age of 17. But I see my analytics, I see my numbers, unless people are lying about their age, which people inevitably do. There's a lot of kids that are making content on YouTube that are getting essentially shamed and harassed. Danny Kahn is pretty much the epitome of that. As somebody who is now, is she 13? Is she 14? She's a child. She's underage, and it's clear at this point that it's been her mother who's been manipulating her, and her mother who's been essentially just been her momager, her abusive momager. And I still see videos of people who make Danny out to be the bad guy when, yeah, she does some dumb shit, but like, she's a kid, and like, kids do dumb shit. It's her mother that's like pushing her to date older men and to make these videos and to make these songs and to post photos that are provocative and suggestive, far too suggestive for somebody her age. I need YouTube to stop letting her post videos. I need YouTube to hold Danny Kahn's mother accountable and to punish her. That's something that I want YouTube to do. I need YouTube to step in more, because they like to have this very like hands-off, like free speech approach. You literally have children on your website who are doing sponsored content and getting paid to post videos in bikinis. 13-year-olds. Let's not do that. Let's leave that behind. And then also you have people like Onion Boy who are still here. So to that person who just said probably YouTube at this point, yeah, let's do that. So yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. Things that we should leave in 2019. If you have other things that you would like to leave in 2019, let me know in the comments below. That would be interesting to have a little discussion. So yeah, this video got a lot more serious than I expected it to. I was expecting just to get like silly and stuff, but you guys actually left like real shit in my Instagram. I did have one person just say like tip of the nose highlight, and I'm like, that looks fine, I think it looks fine. Today's song of the day, let's see. Song of the day. Song of the day is Dark Sorcerer from Frankie and the Witch Fingers. I saw Frankie and the Witch Fingers at Freakout Fest in November, and they were very good, very loud, very energetic. Mosh pit was crazy. If you like the OCs, I feel like you'd like Frankie and the Witch Fingers. That kind of like punky stuff. They're super energetic and high energy. But yeah, Dark Sorcerer from Frankie and the Witch Fingers is your song of the day. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments what some things you want to leave in 2019. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you are new here and you would like to see more, please hit that subscribe button. That would be awesome. Thanks to my patrons. Y'all are great as usual. I will see you all tomorrow in another video. Bye!